So we need to add some steel columns and beams for our first floor on top of this. Since we know from the last time our columns have a negative 9-foot offset, we don't really want to do it from level 0. So I'm going to come into level 15, and for some reason we are seeing all the way through to the footings here, which tells me our view range is beyond this level. So I'm going to come into view range. I'm going to go ahead and change it to, let's just make it level below. Click apply. Alright, so now I can still see the edge of my floor, but not all the isolated footings and everything else. I want to add some columns. So I'm going to come into the structure tab. I'm going to go to column. And we're going to go ahead, if it's still on your concrete ones, go ahead and use the drop down. And we're going to switch to this 250 by 49.1. We're going to say at grids again. And I'm just going to do the right drag. And I'm going to highlight all my grids. I do not want to change views now to check because it'll disappear on me. I'm going to click finish. Now if I come to my 3D, what's going to happen is they're all going to be floating. And Revit still thinks I'm in place in column mode. So until you either hit the modify key or hit escape, it's going to keep doing the last action. So I want to get all these so that the bottom of them are on the top of our floor. So I'm going to just come to my front view here. This time I'm going to do left to right. And now anything that's fully inside of it will get highlighted. And I can double check and make sure it's only my columns by using the filter. Now all I have is my 60 structural columns. Click OK. And so this is what I want to change. I want to have them start on level 0 with no offset and come up to level 15. You can see they've already all updated. I want, I want to have a double height space in here. So I'm going to come back to my level 15 and I'm going to decide which ones I'm getting rid of. So I'll probably leave this whole row, and I want at least 4 of these. Let's see, I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to group all these. Again, if I'm doing left to right, it's only going to be the stuff I grab. I'm going to make sure I've got 15 of those 60 columns. I'm going to click OK, and then I'm just going to delete them. Double check my 3D. And this is funky because in my one view, I took them from the right side. And in my 3D, even though my north is up here, it appears to have flip-flopped. So there's something going on with this template. To keep myself from getting confused, I'm just going to come in here to top view. And so now, even though this is wrong, it's visually going to match what I have here as I'm doing some other stuff. Alright, so I'm going to come back to level 15. I'm going to come back to my structure tab. Now we want to go with beams. Again, it's defaulting to these concrete ones we used in the basement. We want to go with steel, and we want to go with something a bit smaller than our columns. These are a bit too small, so really what we're going to use in this case is the 310 by 38.7. And again, I can hand draw these in, or I can come in to on grids, pick these, click finish. Now if I come into my 3D, what do we have here? You can see if I zoom in, even though we did it all in one go, they are stopping and starting at each of these columns. But what I don't want is all this double height space. So I gotta come in and start deleting, and I can either do this ticky-tack one by one here, or I can come back to my level 15, hope to remember which ones. So I'm just going to do it from here just so I don't make any mistakes. Again, Control will add to your selection. Alright, so those are the ones I don't want anymore. Yeah, looks like I missed one. So now I got this so that we can have a double height space. Before I start copying though, I want to put some beam systems in between here. So if we tried to do a slab on here, the weight between the materials themselves and the occupants and everything else would be too much. So we need to again have some more steel beams that are even smaller than these 310s that run in between. And generally speaking, when you're going in between, you're going the short distance. So if I come back into this view, rather than run the lengthwise, we're going to want them to run this way. So in the Structure tab, you'll see there's Beam System as an option. And within the Beam System, you can come in, you can decide fixed distance. We're going to change this to fixed number of 6. And then 8 by 18 probably actually is a decent size. And then we're going to leave automatic beam system on. And you can see that depending on which edge I pick, it changes where they're going to be. Like I said, we want to go this direction. If for some reason you're not seeing this, what that means is there's an error somewhere in your file and in the connections between your columns and your other beams. So rather than frantically trying to keep going, you're better off deleting, finding the problem, and fixing it. So I can come through one by one, or I could highlight these and start copying using the grid system. I'm just going to do this for now. Alright, so again, it still thinks I'm trying to do a beam system until I tell it otherwise. I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to check my 3D. And now you can see these are connected, and now they're small enough that they're going in between those first set of beams we used. So you want to have something that looks like this. I want to copy all of this up one floor. So I'm going to come into my front view. I'm going to do a right drag. I'm going to get all this. I'm going to use my filter to get out that one level. I'm going to say apply, OK, and I'm going to say copy, and I'm going to start here, and I'm going to come, I got to unconstrain this, and I'm just going to come up. So I'm going from level 0 to level 15. It'll take a second, and now you can see we have an exact copy. So these openings we're going to do in a minute, and then we'll do another little bit out front where we're going to have an awning. But this is the core of your steel structure.